So how are you guys feeling about Marvel movies these days? Are they doing well for you? Are they doing not well for you? Certainly last year had a high with Deadpool and Wolverine, a movie that I actually really enjoyed. And, you know, despite all of the the drama surrounding Ryan Reynolds right now, and certainly even Hugh Jackman, who is supposedly going to be called in, subpoenaed to testify, given everything that's going on with Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively, and Justin Baldoni. There's just all sorts of drama around that. But how is everyone feeling about Marvel movies in general? Because we just got the release of Thunderbolts, and the funny thing is that the actual word of mouth around this film from most people is that this movie is really good. People really enjoyed it. They're calling it the Marvel's version of the Suicide Squad, and that's something to say. Look, I actually really liked James Gunn's Suicide Squad. I don't know how I feel about James Gunn's Superman yet because it's not out yet, but I actually really enjoyed James Gunn's Suicide Squad, and I have a soft spot for the David Ayer Suicide Squad, given the fact that the original trailer for that film seemed to show us the bones of something vastly different before it got meddled in by the studio. But when it comes to Marvel making their own version of the Suicide Squad, how is this going to stack up box office wise, and will it be enough to re-energize the fan base? Because one of the most annoying things that you see, guys, is that if you follow entertainment news closely, and especially if you are on social media, if you are on X, every time a new Marvel movie comes out, right before the release, you get all of the Marvel stans online talking about, this is it. We are so back. Everything is back on track. We're going to be back in our former days of glory. The sad fact is that even with really good movies, I don't think that you can go back. I certainly didn't believe that last year when Deadpool and Wolverine came out, because people were saying, look, Marvel is so back right now. This is going to be how they turn things around. And I was like, nah. One good movie, even if it is really good and you have a lot of fun with it, one really good movie isn't enough to turn around all of the apathy that is built around a franchise as they laid everyone off post Endgame and tried to rebuild Marvel with a new image and all of the things that were changed. And the more I think about it, the more movies that come out, I don't think you can go back. And certainly that seems to be the case here. So if you don't know, Marvel's The Thunderbolts, which has now been renamed The New Avengers, but we'll get into that a little bit, I suppose, at the end of this segment. It opened to $76 million at the domestic box office and $86 million at the international box office, bringing in a total of $162 million. If you're wondering where that sits in the recent Marvel pecking order, Captain America 4, Brave New World, opened to $192 million. Now they are running with the given budget that they're telling everyone, and we all know how little you can trust companies like not companies like Disney. We all know how little you can trust Hollywood in general when it comes to bookkeeping. Am I right? So they are giving us the $180 million budget line with $100 million amount of money spent on marketing. $180 million was the same number that they reported for Captain America 4. And as many better YouTubers than I have dissected these numbers and shown you that is very much not the case, will run with their $180 million budget, and we'll see what that makes of this. So the movies with Marvel, from everything that we've seen in the past, is that Marvel movies are front-loaded. They are not like Sinners, which is absolutely having an incredible generational run in a way at the box office. With its week 1 to week 2 hold being a drop of just 6%, and I think it was like a 30% drop or something this week, which is phenomenal for a film like this. So one of the things that Marvel has to worry about here is that a front-loaded Marvel film that makes $162 million at the box office. So you assume one of the metrics which people run with this is that a movie tends to make like a third of its box office in its opening weekend. So if they make $162 million, my back of the napkin calculation says that they're going to make like $486 to $500 million once it's all said and done. It could be more than that. I don't think it would be less than that, but we're going to have to wait and see whether the good word of mouth makes this unlike other Marvel movies and doesn't cause it to be something that does the majority of its box office in opening weekend once everyone sees it. I feel like that's a product in a lot of ways of the introduction of the post-credit scene, which is something that, it's kind of like, not to make it a weird comparison, kind of like the M. Night Shyamalan of things, where it's like, once you know what the post-credit scene is, it doesn't matter anymore. I think it's partially that, and mostly it's apathy after all of the changes that were made to Marvel, at the end of Endgame and everything. So let's go through this article a little bit, and then we'll go through a couple of the other things. So it says Thunderbolts touchdown with $162 million, including $86 million from 52 international markets. Those ticket sales are behind the previous adventure, which was Captain America: Brave New World, which opened to $192 million, and that movie as well did not make the money that it needed, proportionate to its budget, which is a problem for everyone involved when you want to bring people in with these new characters. Look, everyone that I've seen says that Florence Pugh is the star of this show. I think her and David Harbour are probably the two best actors in there. I love Sebastian Stan more than any of them as Bucky, but as far as people that are going to be getting the credit, I think that Florence Pugh is a fantastic actress. Whatever you think of her, I think she's a fantastic actress. And David Harbour has fantastic comedic timing, so we'll wait and see what that says. But the question I have is, so if you're making if you make $500 million at the box office, and we look at this where it sits in the numbers with previous Marvel movies for opening weekends. So we're down here. This is the problem. We are down here. We're not up here for opening weekends like the Avengers movies or even Spider-Man, Deadpool and Wolverine. $200 million, $260 million. Remember, Deadpool and Wolverine and Spider-Man are technically, they're team-up movies, given the fact that Deadpool and Wolverine is Deadpool, Wolverine, and of course they pull out all the stops. They bring back Chris Evans, they bring back the X-Men, but it's not technically a team-up movie, and Spider-Man not technically a team-up movie, despite the fact that you get all of the Spider-Man characters in there. They're sitting up here with $200 million opening weekends, and then you've got the Avengers, you've got Black Panther. But when you're getting down here and you're rubbing elbows with the Eternals, or worse, you're rubbing elbows with Black Widow, which opened day and date. So Black Widow opened to $80 million. Remember, this is post-Avengers Endgame. You already know what her fate is, which already sets it up for failure, on top of the fact that it was released simultaneously, not just in theaters, but on Disney Plus as well, which causes a lot of people to not make it out to the theaters. So it opens under Black Widow at just $76 million domestically. So it's opening in the territory of Ant-Man and the Wasp, Shang-Chi, and the Eternals. And although I actually think Shang-Chi is certainly a far better movie than the Eternals was, it's not good company to have when you need these movies to make money. And they do need these movies to make money, if for no other reason, excuse me, guys, then excellent money denotes the idea that these are excellent movies, even if they are not. Again, say what you will, but they need these movies to do well because we've got Avengers Doomsday coming up. And the other thing is we've got Fantastic Four coming up. And the issue with that is that, look, people have been waiting for MCU versions of the Fantastic Four and MCU versions of the X-Men, and it's hard to get excited for a movie like that when its two lead-ins aren't really all of any note. So if Captain America: Brave New World and Thunderbolts can't bring in the audience they needed to, the excitement isn't there, and certainly I don't know if I see that same level of excitement for Fantastic Four that they would have hoped to have, given the size of the cast and the amount of time and effort that has been going into promoting the Fantastic Four, given the fact that they had to pay so much money for 20th Century Fox just to get their hands back on those characters. Same thing goes with X-Men, or I'm sorry, that's X-Men. Somebody in the chat or somebody in the comments can dunk on me about that. But the fact of the matter is, the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, a lot of time and money went into reacquiring these characters so that they could put them to good use. And when your lead-in films aren't really leading in with all that much excitement, what do you do? So On top of that, we go and we talk about the fact that it was a name change, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but the reason that the Thunderbolts had the little asterisks up in the top is they are now changing the name to Thunderbolts, from Thunderbolts to New Avengers, and of course that's explained. I will not give spoilers, anything like that, but it felt like a weird bit of desperation from Kevin Feige. Actually, if I'm being honest, the first thing that it made me think about was Harley Quinn. And they mentioned that in this article, but it reminded me of, what was it? It was Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn, which is the worst, most Reddit movie name I've ever heard in my entire life. And certainly audiences seem to think so as well, because it was the first time I'd ever seen anything like this. Like a week after its debut, or a couple of days after it debuted in theaters, they changed the movie to like Harley Quinn Birds of Prey, which means that some studio executive wasn't doing his job from the onset, and should have made sure that the name was more concise and easier to understand from the beginning, rather than go for Reddit style humor that absolutely gets nobody excited about anything. But I would be interested to know, guys. Look, there's so many good channels that will break down the box office numbers for you, but you know, I'm a vibes guy. And right now, the internet vibes tell me that it's people kind of hoping against hope that promoting this movie as if it's the greatest thing in the world will help get it the organic appeal that they wish it did. And certainly the opposite end of that spectrum is something like Sinners, which has fantastic online word of mouth. And it's reflected in the film, which, like I said, opened very, very strongly, surprising a lot of people, and then having a record-breaking hold with only a 6% drop or whatever it was in its second week, and another low drop in its third week. Great word of mouth leads to organic growth for a movie, and that is the way that you sell tickets nowadays, because when you make all your money in the opening weekend, it feels like everything just disappears. Top Gun Maverick didn't reach $1 billion by making $200 gazillion, for lack of better words, in its opening weekend. It had a decent opening weekend, and from there, it chipped away at that amount, getting all the way to $1 billion by getting people to not just tell their friends about it and get them to go out and see it, but be so good that people that loved it so much went out and saw it for a second time. Am I going to believe that a Thunderbolts movie, that a Marvel movie right now in phase whatever we're in now, phase 6, is going to bring about that type of organic excitement? I don't really see it, but let me know down below, guys. Did you go see Thunderbolts? What did you think of it? Do you believe that this is start of some new chapter for the MCU? Do you think that it's going to really, really help the Fantastic Four movie, which is coming out with stiff competition in July, being is that it's coming out around the same time as both Superman and the brand new Scarlett Johansson-led Jurassic Park Rebirth, which, say what you want, when I polled everybody on my X account, people seem to be genuinely excited for that movie. Bizarre as that may seem to a lot of people who feel like the Jurassic Park franchise has been long since dead. Right? So let me know down below. Do you think Thunderbolts is going to make a good amount at the box office? Is the word of mouth going to be enough to carry it past films like Captain America, Brave New World, and help films like Fantastic Four reach higher levels of success? Guys, I want to also let you know that, remember, if you are just watching these segments, Pop Culture Crisis is live Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is noon Pacific. We are also going to be live on Rumble now as well, so you should subscribe to us here, there, and everywhere. Stay tuned for more segments and live episodes Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. See you there, guys. Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.